Welcome to the 54th edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. Given that I just finished the Put the Spooky Back into Christmas coverage, the subject for this week's edition seems to be the perfect transition. That's because I'm going to be talking about the 50th anniversary Blu-Ray release of Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. For those who don't see the connection to Christmas, I'll lay it out for you. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things was a 1972 film from Bob Clark. Now, Bob Clark is known for a number of movies, including Porky's, but it could be said that his most immortal film is the holiday classic A Christmas Story. Of course, he also did the influential, although somewhat underground film Black Christmas, which I reviewed last year. Now, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things predated all of those movies. I have to admit that while I'd heard about the film before, it is legendary, I had never actually seen it until now. I can see why the movie is as well regarded as it is. For those like myself who had never seen it, it centers around a group of theater people led by an abrasive director who travel to an island with a cemetery and do a ritual to bring the dead back to life to serve them. They also dig up one of the corpses and bring him into the caretaker's house with them. Now, it's obvious that they largely think of it as a big joke, but it turns deadly serious for them. The movie is said to be a comedic horror film, but to me, while there is some humor, I found it to be much more pure horror. It obviously owes a debt to Night of the Living Dead, but they certainly went in their own direction with it. And I'm not, talking out of turn by saying it owes a debt to the Night of the Living Dead. They actually admit that was what inspired them. For a low-budget creation, the movie works really well. It does suffer a little from scenes that are too dark, but that's only a minor quibble, and really, that's sort of par for the course with these kind of movies. Overall, this is every bit as good as Night of the Living Dead. I love the way it starts rather slowly, but turns incredibly dark and downright gory later. The movie has a thematic darkness to it. From the cruelty of the director character to the bleak second half, the lack of light in some of the scenes is almost befitting in a symbolic way, too. Now, even if the movie itself was all you got here, this would be well worth having. They obviously used a great print of the film, and it looks and sounds probably the best it's ever looked and sounded. But they loaded this set up with a lot of extras, too. In fact, there's a whole second disc of bonus features. For my money, the interviews are the meat and potatoes of the bonus material here. I learned so much about the movie, Bob Clark's other works, and more from those. As always, you probably won't revisit the bonus stuff as often as you watch the movie, but the things included here are all really well worth inclusion. I'd say that they have really done this legendary film justice with this anniversary edition. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.